Alright, I am literally recording this like only about an hour after I recorded yesterday's video in which I asked you guys to, give me stuff to record. However, I was thinking of this story and then I was like, I should probably put this on the third channel. Because this is a pretty interesting story. All right. Anyway, let me continue, or let me start yapping, as a matter of fact. All right. So this story took place, I think, in about 2020. I'm honestly not sure, but it took place when I was doing Skyblock content. However, before I get into that story, I have something similar to tell you, which I'm gonna tell you first. So, I think this was like my second year of Dutch high school. And at this point, I was like a Hive YouTuber with about, 3,000 subscribers, something along those lines. But Hive was like in its golden state, right? It was goated. It was in like the 2020 era where everyone was just getting millions of views. Ignacio Blade was uploading, Evident just was coming up. It was peak Hive, dare I say. And I'm just walking in my school, and we have these like, little Chromebooks, which are just the worst thing ever. If you've ever used one of those, you know how terrible they are. However, my school like had those. So all of the people from like the year below me, like the 12 and 13-year-olds, they were sitting on the ground as like most of the people that are new to the school do. If you're Dutch, like, if you go to high school and you're sitting on the ground, you are just the loser. And as soon as you hit the second year, you stop doing that. But for some reason, it's a canon event to do that. I was guilty of it. I sat on the floor my first year. I don't know why. I'm talking about like not in the classes. I'm talking about like, during like break between classes. Like most people would like, either stand and talk with their friends, or they would take a seat somewhere. But usually there's no seats left because all the older people take them. So like the young kids like sit on the floor. Anyway, I felt like I needed to clarify that before people thought that I was, sitting on the floor in the classroom. I did not do that, all right? That wasn't me. That was not me, all right? Calm down. So I was walking through the hallway with some of my friends. I can't remember what we were doing. I can hardly even remember this story. I just vaguely remember what was happening. But yeah, I was walking through the hallway to one of like my classes, which was more of like it wasn't really a class. It was just kind of like a place you needed to go to like do your schoolwork. I don't know. It was kind of weird. Basically, we were walking, right? And I walk into this class, and it's like a mix of basically everyone. It's a mix of like every age, every like different class, and it's just people there that gotta do like their extra work or whatever, or like not extra work, that it's like an extra thing that you have to do, like you have to do it like once a week or something, to get your schoolwork done in school. It was kind of weird. Anyway, I walk into that classroom and I see out of the corner of my eye Hive gameplay on a Chromebook. I was like, what? Who is playing Minecraft on these things? I didn't know these things could run Minecraft. They can run Minecraft? What the hell? I could do so much grinding in Hive Skywars, but, that wasn't the case. They were watching a YouTube video. Now, I cannot remember for the life of me who they were watching. I'm pretty sure they were watching, like, Evident or Ignacio, either one of those. But I walked into that class, I saw them, and I was just like, what do I do? Because I had this like major identity crisis where someone was gonna like recognize me IRL and like leak all of my personal info. I don't know how this guy would ever figure out that, by him watching Evident or Ignacio or whoever it was, that I would like be Dragon G standing behind him. But yeah, I don't think that was really a thing. But I got like a massive panic attack, but I remember it so clearly. I think that was the first time I ever saw someone in real life like interacting with the Hive, which is a very weird thing. I'm not gonna lie, it's very weird. It's like a very interesting thing, because it's like, oh, this is like my job and my hobby, but I do all of this anonymously. But someone in front of me is like watching this, and that's kind of scary. But the second time was actually way crazier. Like, as in, I met a viewer in real life. This is a crazy story. I don't know how to explain. I don't know how to say this. I met a viewer in real life. All right, let me get into a few of the details. All right. So my cousin had a new boyfriend, right? And he was about a year younger than me, I think, from what I remember. Maybe 2 years younger, but he was pretty close to my age, right? He was pretty close to my age. Now, this was during the Hypixel Skyblock era. So this was during the, like, let's say 2020 era. This guy is gonna die. GG's. And during this 2020 era, I was uploading Hypixel Skyblock content, and that content didn't really go that far. I think the most popular video I had was 60,000 views. At the time, I think it was probably episode 1 of my 0 to 100 million series, which got about 50,000 views, which is still pretty good, especially back then when I had like 3,000 subscribers. That was a pretty good video. It went pretty like viral for everyone that played Hypixel Skyblock, because it really isn't that big of a community. So getting 50k views on your first Skyblock video, like in a community that's maybe like 200,000 people big, is pretty cool. Yeah, I go to this birthday. I don't know, it was one of my family's birthday. I don't know if it was like cousins or like who it was. The birthday of someone in my family. And I go there, and, you know, I meet this dude for the first time. It's my cousin's boyfriend, and I say hello, you know, I introduce myself, and she says to me, he plays Minecraft too. I don't generally tell people in real life that I do YouTube, but there is a handful of friends that know. There's a handful of coworkers that know, because like some of them are like my friends. You get what I mean. And my family also knows, because like how else am I gonna explain to my family that I'm making money by screaming at my computer screen? I have to tell them. All right, I have to tell them, otherwise they're gonna think I'm doing drugs or selling them or whatever. It's not a good thing. All right, it's not a good thing. I have to disclose to them that I am doing YouTube. So my cousin also knows that I'm doing YouTube. Anyway, she knows that I do Minecraft YouTube videos. They know my channel name. They don't really watch any of my stuff. I don't think any of like my IRLs watch any of my stuff. Maybe like 1 or 2 videos, but not consistently like every upload. Yeah, my cousin says, oh yeah, this is my new boyfriend. He also plays Minecraft. I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's great. Wow. All right. Oh my fucking. Anyway, so I'm like, oh, okay, cool. What do you play? And he's like, oh yeah, I just play a little Java, sometimes Hypixel. I was like, oh cool. I play Hypixel too. My cousin says the legendary words, wait, don't you make YouTube videos too on Minecraft? And I was like, what happened to the entire keeping it secret and not doxing me in real life thing, bro? Like, what the fuck? But you know, my cousin didn't really think of that. You know, it was her boyfriend, so she didn't really think to keep it a secret. But I had never met this man, but up until like 5 seconds ago, so I was kind of confused. You know, she said that, and I was like, oh yeah, I do. Her boyfriend was like, oh, what kind of content do you make? And I was like, oh, I gotta show this guy my channel. I just met him. Is he gonna dox my location? Is he gonna tell everyone where I live? But you know, I showed him my channel, and he said the words, I've watched that video. Now that's scary. Little old 3,000 subscriber me found that to be pretty scary. And even to this day, if you see me in real life and you have a suspicion that I am Dragon G, don't come up to me. I don't want to meet you. I'm scared. I'm scared, bro. I'm scared. Stay away. Anyway, so now I find myself in this interesting situation where this guy in front of me says, I've watched this video, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. Did you like it? And he was like, yeah, it's pretty cool. Anyway, they broke up like I think a month later. However, that was me meeting the first ever viewer in real life, and hopefully the last, because I'm honestly not planning on like meeting any more viewers in real life, if I'm being honest. That doesn't sound like something I want to do. Also, this dude has to like die. Why? Can you stop attacking me, brother? I don't want to fight you. Just get my bed. Get my what? Huh? Why are we attacking me, brother? Brother, why are we? I still have a bed. You haven't gotten my bed yet. I don't know what this dude's doing, bro. This dude's doing some weird stuff. Anyway, so yeah, that was the story. I felt like it was something I could tell on this channel. Let me know if you want any more stories like this. Oh my fucking god, stop chasing me, kid. Stop chasing me. Okay, he's gonna go to my bed. That's fine. What? It broke. What the fuck? Why did it break? That's BS, bro. That's BS. You can literally do 3 jumps with that thing. Why did it break? What the hell? Alright, now I'm literally just cooked. I'm literally just cooked now. I'm dead. Cool. Anyway, that dude's probably mining. Wait, he's back at his own base. What is he doing? No clue what's going on in this game. I'm not gonna lie. I thought I could like end the story and the game at the same time, but that didn't really work out. Now I have to win this game, and oh, it's terrible. Terrible day. Terrible day for the Dragon G. Anyway, yeah. So that was I'm thinking if I had any more like close encounters like that. I don't think I really do. I did have like one IRL friend who did like consistently watch my videos, but that was not in like a weird way. That was just like, you know, he also liked Minecraft, so he just watched my videos. So I guess that's fair. But I've never really had someone that I didn't know like come up to me. I remember this Technoblade story he was talking about at one point where like he was at a bus stop and someone recognized his voice and they were like, "Are you Technoblade?" And then like he made an entire video about it, which is kind of what I'm doing right now. Yeah, I'm glad that I'm never gonna have that since, you know, I speak a completely different language in my day-to-day life. So it's gonna be very hard for people to recognize my Dutch voice. I mean, I have spoken Dutch on this channel before. Well, not on this channel. I have spoken Dutch in videos and streams before, but it's not recognizable enough to the point people could probably pinpoint that it's me. I swear there was a guy here. But yeah, as I said before, if you see a guy, you know, in real life with a buzz cut and a goatee, and he kind of vaguely sounds like me, do not come up to him, bro. He will stab you, all right? He will stab you. That's probably a criminal. And if it's me, I'm still gonna deny it's me. So you're never gonna figure it out. You're never gonna figure it out. I'm looking at you, Dutch viewers. You're never gonna find me. That being said, it is kind of like something I'm scared of. Not necessarily now, but I feel like as soon as I'll get bigger on YouTube, it's gonna be very easy. Just run into me on the street, if you know what I mean. Because like the Netherlands has a pretty like low population, like not even 20 million people. I mean, that's kind of crazy, bro. Like statistically speaking, I have walked past someone that watches my not even watches my videos. I've walked past someone who like commented on my videos in the past, and I'm sure of it. As a matter of fact, there's a pretty decent chance I went to school with someone that watched my videos but didn't like comment or like didn't know it was me. But like, you know, not obviously my friends at school like saw like one or two of my videos, but I'm talking random people in my school that had no idea who I was that just watched my videos. You know, there's probably even people in my school, which I'm now graduated from, that are watching my videos, like, as soon as they get home. Now, I would love to, like, review which school I was from to test this theory, but that would be doxing myself, so I'm not gonna do that. With that being said, I'm gonna kill this guy. We both missed our fireballs. We might be the worst, like, players to ever touch this game. Brother, I'm gonna win. As in, I am the bow spammer of doom and despair and every terrible thing you can... And I ran out of arrows. Never mind. If I don't win this, I'm leaving the game. You know what? I'm gonna take this entire loss if I don't win this fight. William, you're scaring me! Why are you doing this much damage? Huh? What? Oh my god, wait. I didn't have my chest plate on. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. No! What the hell happened? This was the worst fight of my life. Anyway, we won the game. That's gonna be it for this, like, terrible video. If I have any more stories to tell that are, like, vaguely similar to this or, like, interesting in any sort of capacity, I will probably put them on this channel. I've also decided the Dragonite skin is gonna stay. This is just gonna be the branding of this channel from now on, alright? We, as a community, like, the More Dragon G channel will be represented by the Dragonite in the thumbnails, alright? That's what will happen. You know how like, Corrupton has those, what's it called? Those like Tuxedo Steve ones, you know, that's about to be me with the Dragonite, all right? Anyway, before someone calls me out, oh, Dragon G, you're using the white background that Corrupton uses. Me and Corrupton are friends. I asked him, yo, you care if I use the white background? He was like, nah, I don't care. So, do with that information as you will, bro. I did not steal it. I asked for permission. Calm down. It was a misinput. No, it wasn't. It wasn't a misinput. Anyway, I'm kind of yapping here. Can I complete this parkour? That's the real question. The video is gonna end if I either fall down or if I complete the parkour. Because I don't think I've claimed any sort of, like, reward that was up on this parkour before. I don't think I've ever stepped foot on this part of the hub before. So I'm gonna experience it for the first time. I'm gonna see what's happening. I'm gonna find out what is the Shabloinky over here, alright? Shabloinky is something I just invented, and honestly, I kind of like saying it. As in, I invented it the first time I said it 5 seconds ago, but Shabloinky, this might stay. You know what? Shabloinky might be something that happens. Oh, what do I get? I get nothing! I got scammed! I got scammed! Give me... Yo, bro, are we serious? Wait, there's another one over there. Hold on, I'm gonna cheat the system. Hold on. I'm gonna get there. I already claimed this one. There's another one over there. Give me. And are we serious? I do not remember claiming any of these, but I guess I did. This is a terrible day for the Dragon G community. I don't know what to do with myself. Why am I still recording? Good question. I should probably end.